he is needed. He's been doing a great job, but let's take a look now at the Band of Protect, both the key tacticals coming out. You see Overclock and HC. Do you think the HC coming out has any impact on this game?
No, not at all. I think that's a little bit of a waste. But both of these teams are going to be some that are going to try and force it to as close to a gun v gun scenario as possible. So you're going to see the tacticals go. Imagine you're going to see high caliber rapid go. You're going to see Overclock be targeted a lot during the series because these players don't want to get hit with those abilities constantly. And these last two, I expect the Shiva from one side to go. I don't think EnVy would probably want to deal with the Shiva.
Yeah, but, I'm trying to think. In the last game, what did we see? We saw the Purifier go. That can be a strong weapon on this game. I don't think either team really is that worried about that. They both are fine using it. We'll have to wait.
Well, both these teams waiting each other out.
Well, the final two really comes down to the final seconds a lot when they really are having a difficult position. There is the Purifier. So you see that taken out. Then the VMP by Scump.
Interesting, interesting. So VMP going to go. You expect this one to be more about the Kuda now. The Kuda and the VMP, the two most popular SMGs amongst the pro players, and the Shiva makes it in. So you could potentially see somebody like Formal run the Shiva. We've seen it from time and time, and EnVy doesn't really have a player who can utilize the Shiva that well. Now you're going to see the specialist draft continuing. You're going to have Heatwave on Karma and TP, Havoc with Kinetic. You're going to see Camo on Crim. Fully expect to see Scump go Kinetic and Formal go Scythe to round out OpTic Gaming.
All right, well, let's see the final couple picks coming in here, Matt, before we hop into the game one. Breach, Hardpoint, it's down to Scump and JCap. You see Kinetic Armor coming in and Scythe for Cap. Scump, I think him and Attached, probably the two best Kinetic players in the game. He can be such a difference maker, especially in something like Hardpoint. Breaking those hard points, holding the hard points, getting big kills on the rotation. The kid is a god when it comes to using it.
I wonder if we see any Vesper during this.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe potentially.
You could use it like in cages, like in the second hard point. You could use it in the first one, obviously. Just a little bit harder to shoot at range. I wonder if we see the Vesper at all from either of these teams.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I think we'll see a lot of the Kuda
for sure. But
you do see, I think it was Burns we saw really go off at South Carolina on this particular map, this particular hardpoint with the Vesper after the nerf. He dropped 40+. So it can be done for sure. But for those of you guys on Twitter, we love to go, hear your guys' comments, hear your feedback. And this one, these two long-standing organizations, who are your favorite players? When you're looking at EnVy, when you're looking at OpTic, so many big names to choose from. Use the hashtag CWLPS4, tweet at myself, at Matt, also at the COD World League. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts.
This is a tough one for me. I mean, I have a lot of friends on both of these teams throughout the years. Like, obviously,
I went to Karma's for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I went to Karma's wedding.
Oh, yeah, we were both there. Yeah. So definitely close to these guys. I've known Formal since his Halo professional days. And then EnVy, I mean, one of the first players to kind of teach me the ropes back in the days with Aches, TP.
I spent a ton of time, obviously, with Teep, Crim, Aches, and Karma. And then, obviously, Clay played for OpTic. I spent a ton of time with him. Two guys that very good friends with, though. Rambo Ray. Got to give a shout out to Ray.
Oh, I miss Ray.
Ray, I know you're coming to California soon. You better come by and see me. Now, our good buddy Nate.
That's true. Yeah, those two long-time players on these organizations.
I love Big T as well.
Oh God, yeah.
I love Big T as well.
I like to watch him stream his videos.
I haven't seen Big T in a while, but
great sense of humor on that guy. But here we go. Players going to be loading into map one. Breach, Hardpoint,
it's like
OpTic,
a club of people who
EnVy.
are too old to play anymore.
Woo! Yeah, that's certainly what that is.
Yeah.
You just try to put together just a group of old heads.
Yeah. So CWL starts a 30+ pro division.
They're at
they'll be dominating
the OpTic retirement home. It's like it's like a side building on their house.
Yeah. Oh man.
I would live there.
Hey, I would consider it. Hector, don't charge us any rent. We'll move right into the retirement home.
Give me food, a recliner, and a TV. I'll be good to go.
Yeah. So you're gonna see the break here. It's gonna be Kudas out of Havoc and Teep. No Shiva out of any of the guys on EnVy. And look at that, you have Slasher on the Vesper, picking up 2 there early. So you are going to see some Vesper during this one. I thought when the Kuda got banned, you're going to see Formal actually with a Shiva as well. But when the Kuda got banned, it kind of opened things up to potentially with a Shiva, because this is one map that you can get away with running the Shiva.
Oh, you certainly can. But I do love that we're seeing the Vesper,
I meant,
here out of out of Slasher. You know, players dropping right now. Crim's the only one with a kill right now for OpTic. Formal finally able to answer. He's going to just fly out there, not able to connect. I'm going to go kind of between Havoc and between Slasher right now as they're both off to early breaks here. In a 4-0 start, can Havoc get the streaks is the question. Cap picks up a couple of kills. Havoc trying to bounce back and forth here with Slasher in the hard point as he's going to pick up yet another one.
And he's been playing so good around the hard point, Havoc. You know, just doing a great job, just baiting out some shots, and Slashers winning those gunfights. And you see Cap, he's going to rotate over towards Cages. So this is one where Envy could potentially control the second hill as well. Fantastic start by Envy. You see Havoc starting out 6-0. Definitely got to be close to those streaks, man.
Yeah, I got to go back to him. It's really him, Cap, Slasher. They've all started out great. OpTic Gaming not keeping pace. They don't have a point yet. It's 65-0.
They should be getting a point soon. And they actually kill Havoc before he gets the streak. See Karma picking up 2 or 3 kills inside of the hill.
Now.
And now they're on the board, yeah.
Well,
hey, you couldn't ask for a better start for Envy, right?
No, you could not. That's as good as it gets right now. 69-10 the score. Karma coming in. Formal picks up a couple. Karma gets a second as well. And now starting to tally some points. 20 seconds left before we're going to start to rotate out of here to Palace. But they finally are getting on the board, doing a good job. And that's kind of OpTic Gaming, right? Slow starts, but now Karma 7 streak. Cerberus in his pocket. He's locked and loaded here, ready to do more damage against Envy.
And it's funny because like what we talked about pregame, it's like, oh, I know Karma, he's not going to probably finish with the most kills, but comes up with big plays, right? This team's down 69, 70-0. He's 0-5. What goes on a huge 7 streak, able to get full streaks, could potentially make help make a big comeback here for OpTic.
All right, we're watching Crim now. He's trying to break inside a Palace. Scump already set up nicely. The battle's going down top middle as they're trying to fly in here. I want to go back to Karma off the rip just to see how he's going to use these streaks. He's got his heat wave to go. Full gold there across the bottom right as he's rotating out the backside. There's his heat wave. He didn't even shoot him.
Anyway,
he was gone, and he picks up, no, not a second, as he's ultimately going to fall. We've been watching kind of the OpTic breaks here for a little bit. Let's switch over to Envy and see what they can do as they're trying to fly through. The answer is everyone's dropping on that side of the map. JCap drops as well. A great hold here from OpTic as they've turned a 65-0 game into a tie ball game.
And Envy at the beginning was doing a good job, forcing the issue, keeping up that good pace. And I think at this moment in time, like OpTic is kind of warmed up that this is not a pace that Envy wants to play at anymore. They don't want to keep forcing these gun engagements because they're not going to win this game like that.
No. You do not want to play a fast game style, especially on hardpoint with this team. And the nice part here, they've mounted this big comeback, and Karma still has held on to all these streaks. He hasn't really had to use anything except that heat wave. Everything else he's managed to hold on to. He's about to get pushed, though, by everyone in, unfortunately, an awkward moment as he has to reload. And now you're going to have Slasher, JCap in the hard point. Slasher on a 3 streak of his own, Matt, as he's trying to work towards streaks. You can see, I think he's working on yet another lightning.
Yeah, he is. He's going to work on doubling up his lightning, so only 200 away from that. He's going to see, I don't know if he actually saw this one player get towards the bank, but has a sneaky suspicion that one player is actually snuck by for OpTic Gaming. The hill gonna get contested. Now you're gonna see Slasher fly in. He's not gonna be able to win that gunfight. Karma and Scump doing a great job just assaulting these hills together.
Look at Karma and Scump. They both are fully streaked.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, that's not good at all for you at all if you're Envy. And this is, what you love about Black Ops 3, reintroducing streaks that actually have an impact here. And I want to see how these guys opt to use them. I'm going to be rotating now back towards middle, watching Karma as everyone's trying to get set up for Lab. He wants to go around the outside. I think a Cerberus just got dropped off, so that was probably Scump's. Yeah, so Scump's going to use him and Karma both going to pick up kills. Formal closes it out, and they are set up nicely. The lightning comes in for Slasher. It's able to pick up one, but does nothing for them as far as
nobody from Envy is even close to getting near the hill when he calls it in. He picks up 1 kill, and that player actually for OpTic Gaming spawns directly next to the hill. So it really does nothing for Envy there to open things up.
Well, Karma is going to deal with some pressure. He wins a nice gunfight across. He has his heat wave too. That might have been a perfect time to use it, but he was pretty tagged up. I'm going to go back over to Scump. He's got his Hellstorm. He's got his Lightning. He's wrapping around the backside here. Is everyone fighting for Lab? We're going to be rotating to top middle next, and you can see on the minimap here, they've still got this Cerberus. It's around. It's hunting.
And Scump actually, I think, gets taken out while trying to call in that Hellstorm missile. You see Crim, your screen picking up one at the front of the hill. It's going to rotate back towards that middle. You see Formal on top with the sight. It's going to be OpTic Gaming up 145, 108 here, going in a second rotation of hills. But this is where Envy got a ton of time on this first hill. So let's see if they're able to get back in here and hold it good.
Yeah, but last time you weren't dealing with streaks, with Cerberus. I think both have been used at this point. So that one that rotated to top middle, I believe, was Karma. So they're both going to be off the map. The streaks coming in, though. Crim6 trying to break in. You saw a Camo player run by him there, and they're able to get the break they needed. So Havoc going to be set up in the hardpoint. They're trailing by a little over 20 points right now. And like you said, they did a really good job on this hardpoint the first time. Can they do it again? So far, so good for Envy.
Yeah, and I like the idea of using Camo there just to get that second player over towards that middle of the map, because you don't know if Formal's, sitting up top on AC with an AR. It would have been very difficult for that player with an SMG to make it back to this position to kind of help Havoc.
That's
and that
a
is
huge
huge
kill
right there. He's able to pick it up. You saw Cap in the kill feed as well, picking up 3 earlier, but now it's going to be Scump and Karma just clearing out the other players of Envy. It's going to be Havoc, the only one up. He's going to be holding this hardpoint until the final seconds, and he's scared to move up because he's so close to getting that Hellstorm. Obviously, if he's able to get a Cerberus as well, that'd be huge. As OpTic Gaming, they use all their streaks. He doesn't get it. Formal picks him up. Crim picks him up over the side
That's
door.
why I was staying with him, just because he was getting so close to those streaks. You saw Scump dropping. His kinetic was basically about to fall here. I think there's a player calling it an HC. I don't know what it was, but Crim finding a couple players with their pants down, able to pick up 2. They've still got control. He finds one more in Hut. That's 3. Oh, God! He just turned.
No!
And TP. I know you guys
were so ill.
You were teammates once, but he just ended your soul.
You don't do that to a friend.
Yeah,
friends don't do that to friends.
Oh, God, that was so filthy. Just snaps on his head there. Dirty plays from Crim. They've got a 40-point advantage here, and Karma locking down the hard point. OpTic Gaming starting slow, but closing strong right now.
That TP's actually had a great game, though, for Envy. Not a lot of hill time, which is quite odd. You usually see Teep with the most hill time for the team, but 21, 23. It's a pretty good game at Teep. You would take that. Obviously, he's going to be somebody who's more OBJ-minded, not going to put up a ton of kills, though yesterday he did as well. You see Karma coming over towards Palace, and the Kuda's so good at
that
all
range,
ranges.
That kind of medium, it's
that
perfect.
Medium to longer range, it's good, but I feel like it's underrated close range as well. It can definitely win fights against the VMP. Obviously, you want a VMP close range.
It just doesn't win the hip fire battle, which is the big thing. But it still can be very effective. Now let's go to Envy. TP in the hardpoint.
Envy's still in this game, by the way.
He's going to find one, has a 3 streak. Yeah, this game is by no means over. They can certainly come back in this, and they're doing a great job holding Palace. He backs them up with the Simtex, re-peaks, and there's JCap there to follow up. He's going to pick up 1. He knows there's a second due to the call out. The timing there could not have been worse, but he is able to pick up a Kuda in the transition. They're going to allow the scrap time here. They all just left, and they're going to give Karma. I thought they were going to give Karma 13 points. It's like, come on, guys. Someone's got to try and get this.
And Envy goes back, but they were actually trying to just go on the rotation for these next spawns. You see Formal, he's set up behind this AC unit.
Scump just
picks
saved
up
his
1.
life.
Yeah, pretty much saves his life, but he's going to get naded out by Teep. So now it's going to be Envy. Teep picks up 2. Should be able to control these spawns. See OpTic spawning far away in Palace. Crim's in the hill. Has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, they aren't leading by much. Marginal at best right now, but that's Crim going big again. He runs out of bullets, and they're able to get the break. That's behind Havoc. Picking up 3, picking up 4. I think it's TP
actually
getting it.
Comes in, saves the day right there.
And they are looking for yet another lead change. Envy trying to hold on. The pressure going to be coming from the backside. The spawn is in. You're seeing Havoc turn focus. He's got to win some big ones here. You see VX-Ray, they're all flying in. He's got TP and Slasher to help. He's pre-firing the corner. The pre-fire just a little too early. TP comes in trying to hold on, and now they've got a break. Scump doing a great job. He's got 3 to himself. He's getting closer and closer to kinetic armor as well. In the final 10 points here, going to go to OpTic. They'll have a small lead as we are going to rotate here again. Wow, what a wild game 1 here between these 2 teams.
Yeah, and I'm going to cycle through. So we have nobody with streaks in the entire game, and then on the side of Envy, you have no abilities up. The side of OpTic, you have none either. So both teams spent in all the abilities and score streak categories.
Envy can win it right here. Slasher got 2 big ones.
That's a huge kill right there, though. Formal picks up a 2-piece in the back. Should be able to hold this off for OpTic Gaming, though. But Havoc and TP going big inside of the hill. TP with another one. TP having a massive game 1 here, man.
They've got to break. They got to break now. 5 points left. They have to get in. They just have to contest. Nobody's challenging. Finally, Crim gets in. He breaks. He pops Camo. He turns. Tries to get a 30. Has to reload. Can he win it? He finally going to close it out. They need 10 points. That was the break they need. Crim going massive here. Can they win the game? They only need 5 more points. Now comes Envy trying to get in. Formal's got 1. Can they get the break? They're going to hold it down. They get both. And OpTic Gaming's going to win it.
Huge plays by Crim there at the end. It was Havoc and Teep inside the hill for Envy doing all they could, but the players on OpTic just started to flood it. Formal winning those 2 gunfights in the back was the biggest part of the game.
I thought when Slasher got the 2 in the back, that might close it out, but Formal answers right back from kind of the same position.
I don't know who you were on board with because things just started to get crazy, but I believe it was Slasher over by Cages when he challenges Formal, and Formal wins the first one against Cat. If Slasher wins that gunfight, that game's over. The game ends right there.
Yeah, and he got the 2 before that too. So he would have had that would have been a 3-piece, maybe closed down the game. Because
100% would have closed the game.
You only had really 1 break opportunity. I mean, at that point, they had 247. It was 1 break. I thought they were going to get into a contested time.
At that point, Crim gets into the hill when Slasher drops, and then you have Formal. The players in the hill have to go and kill Formal in the back, which they do. They get back inside. I think it's like Teep picks up a 2-piece, but Crim comes in, cleans them up. If Slasher's alive. He comes straight through that side door. He picks up 1 of those kills. It's over. So then none of the guys in the hill have to go outside to challenge, so you have the 2 players looking towards the front. That's a game that Envy wins. Slasher picks up that kill. You can't really hate on him because it's a tough one as well.
We talked so much about Scump and Karma early because they were fully streaked out. They had such an impact. But Crim is the guy that goes big at the end that matters. And that 4-piece, that streak he got where he turned on TP, that's an apology letter. Like, you have to write out not an email, not a text. That's a handwritten letter saying, buddy, I'm sorry.
Teep has a monster game. Teep has a monster game. He goes +3, 1:06 in the hill, 7 defense, and I tell you what, Havoc, he only goes +2, a minute 43 in the hill, but I think it just helps Teep's game so much to have an aggressive SMG player because he's not the one just that has to force the issue. Like, Teep's never done that in his career, right? Teep's been a guy who plays in the hill, gets those big kills when it matters. And to ask him to play at that fast pace and be the intro killer isn't what Teep's supposed to do. And it's not probably what Slasher wants to do either.
And that's the thing. This team, at one point
you mentioned... It makes more sense, I feel like.
At one point you mentioned during that, kind of early on, you said now that OpTic's heating up, Envy doesn't want to play that fast-paced game. I actually think they can. They can. With Havoc compared to what they could with Aches. They can play a little more running gun. Black Ops 3,
you saw it.
Hardpoint, they hung with them. That was awesome to watch and a really, really good performance there by Havoc and TP being the lead subs. And I think that sub presence definitely sorely missed, and that was a close game.
I mean, as close as you can get. What, a 3-point game there down to the wire. Saw some big plays. Every time I feel like, Teep and Havoc needed to go big in the hill and pick up kills. They did. And see Crim right here.
Except for the final one.
Right, so when Crim comes in and picks up these 2 kills, if Slasher's alive, he comes through the side door and finishes that off. Because the one player doesn't have to go through the back and take out Formal. And right there, it was just that 1 kill. When Formal opens up the back, that's the game right there.
Crim had 4 big kills at Cage the one time, 4 in a row to give them a lot of time. He had 4 in a row there in the final hardpoint and lab to close things out. I mean, even though he didn't get a kill with the camo, that camo pop and jump across is the only reason he stayed alive. Gets the reload in, picks up the kill. Ooh, Crim goes big, man. That was a fun one.
Now it's this new, I don't want to say it's like a new OpTic gaming, right? During Advanced Warfare, it was really just a lot of Scump and Formal. It's like a Scump and Formal show. And then Crim was there sometimes, and Karma, he had his moments as well. But in this game, I feel like it's much different. It's it's kind of I think Formal's probably the most consistent one when it comes to who's going to have a big game. But the other 3, it's like a toss-up. It doesn't really matter anymore. If Scump doesn't play the best, it doesn't really matter anymore. Well, I mean, it used to matter a lot.
And if you guys, maybe at home, you're a new viewer. I know we have live event viewer on the PlayStation 4 now, so I know we have some maybe more casual players tuning into esports for the first time. If you missed the first matchup, these are 1 and 2 in the standings.
Yeah.
The first time these guys played, we go to a Game 5. It's an epic series. OpTic ends up rolling in the Game 5. I think it was 6-0, but it was a very, very good series. And now you have Havoc in place of Aches, which I think brings better S&D gameplay for sure. I think Havoc is that's one of his best game modes. And you saw the added pressure he brings with the sub. And don't get me wrong, I think Aches is one of the best players in the game, but we are not sure yet if Havoc maybe actually fits better to the, kind of that core NB piece. Does he provide a better play for the team?
The only reason you make a change is if it gives you a better chance to beat OpTic Gaming. Envy's beaten every other team.
Yeah.
Envy's beaten every other team. I don't want to say with ease, but this is an Envy team that is 3-0 to pretty much everybody.
Yeah,
their games have not been close. Versus the rest of the league, they have not been close.
I think there's 6 or 7 3-0s. Yeah, I think last night against TSM was their 7th, 3-0. Right. So, yeah, they've done a really good job. I mean, the only teams they've had any issues with is, some
FaZe.
FaZe, Rise,
FaZe
OpTic,
and-
because they have close games.
Yeah. Well, no, they've beaten Rise.
Oh, they
twice.
beat them, but I mean, they're closer
They're
games.
closer
Everyone else are like
games, but-
3-0.
Yeah, everybody else they blow away. It's just so against those top teams, I feel like they think they needed somebody who's going to force the issue and really just get in your face. Like, you look at Rise, they have guys like Looney and Slack. Those guys are going to force the issue. OpTic, they have a guy like Scump. He's going to be aggressive, just pushing into the hills all the time. FaZe obviously has Attach and Zuma. When you looked at this Envy team, there was a one piece they were missing.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And you can see how it's benefiting TP because he's had some of his stronger games.
There's
just
not that much pressure.
these
There's
final two
still
series.
pressure on TP, but it's not the same type of pressure. Like, Teep just needs to go back to winning his big engagements in the hill, which Teep is perfect at that. You know, he plays like slower. He's not going to challenge anything that he doesn't need to. He doesn't have to be the guy who's going to try and play at 1,000,000 miles an hour and win those gunfights. I thought that was why Teep struggled a little bit last year, too, because the game was so fast.
No, I couldn't agree more. And this, I mean, we saw it in the Uplink yesterday. You know, TP was able to get the drone and have Havoc in front of him at all times, just kind of leading the way, whereas I feel like TP had like 3 slower players where he's trying to push the pace. It helps him so much now. But we'll see now. In S&D, I still think this is where you really want Havoc to make a difference. If he doesn't step up and help you in S&D, maybe a permanent change doesn't make sense. And right now, I think this is just a sub filling in. They're filling him out, which I love. But a permanent change doesn't happen unless you really see him help them in S&D, I think.
No, this is an Envy team that was pretty strong in S&D already.
Yeah. No, but they didn't play very many because
of weak. They didn't play very many, but I didn't think they were bad necessarily. And Scump gets rid of Overkill, and that is a ban that you would not see come against Envy prior to having Havoc on the roster.
Now, we didn't really get to see Havoc snipe much yesterday. It was banned, or it was on maps where you don't really need a snipe. We'll see if he opts to use it here. You don't ban it out if you're OpTic. You have faith in Formal. You have faith in Karma, guys that can both pull out the sniper and be effective in their own ways. Now, what do you expect here when we're looking at abilities across the board? I know, but let's see if we have any differences. Is this going to be a mirror match?
It should be. Expect, actually, no, you're going to see Kinetic out of these last two guys. Kinetic on Scump. You expect Havoc to go Kinetic as well.
Yep. So, yeah.
Kinetic's in. You expect it to happen. And the only one you can kind of look at is maybe Psychosis. Do you want to have Vision Pulse instead of Psychosis? I'm a fan of Vision Pulse over Psychosis.
Yeah, we saw Psychosis actually used pretty well yesterday, but it's still been kind of iffy for me. It's really hit or miss. But Vision Pulse can be as well. Now, on Redwood, this is going to be a fun one. We've had some epic OpTic gaming maps on this. Remember that Game 5, Round 11 against Elevate. Yep. Really been a fun one for this particular team. But I just don't know. Is Havoc going to be the difference maker for them? Can Envy keep up and search and destroy? Because, again, it came down to a Game 5. I think it was Infection. It was a 6-0 like that.
Instant.
It was 4 or 5 kills for Envy in total.
No. That was one of the more lopsided games
that we've had the entire year in Black Ops 3. Yeah. So let's see if they can keep pace a little bit more. Now, right now, players just editing their classes here before we hop into Search and Destroy. Now, for maybe some of the new viewers at home, if you're hopping in on Live Event Viewer, this is going to be a best of 5, so first to 3 wins. We have 4 different game types in the best of 5. We started with the hardpoint, which is kind of like a cycling king of the hill. We're going to be going to Search and Destroy now, which is a 1 life elimination mode, kind of a best of 11, first to 6 rounds. Next up is going to be Uplink. That's, I mean, easiest way to describe it. You're going to see it. 2 uplinks. It's kind of like basketball.
Basketball with guns.
We got a video to explain a little bit more later.
With guns.
And then the other is going to be Capture the Flag, which I think everyone, just from childhood, at some point you've played Capture the Flag, and whether it's Capture the Flag in football or in something, you've seen it somewhere.
Capture the Flag in football?
Not Capture the Flag, but, oh, God, what was the game we used to play when I was a kid?
It's a very long time ago. Think about it.
Oh, yeah,
Think
that's right.
about
Oh, God, I'm searching into my memory banks here.
The world was.
I was once a kid.
Broadcasted in black and white when you were a kid.
I was once a kid. Yeah, I experienced dial-up internet. There were no cell phones. If I wanted to call,
were you alive when the color television was first introduced?
I might have been. When I wanted to call a girl in high school to hit on her, I had to ask to speak to her dad first because we only had house phones. So I'd be like, "Hello, Mr. So-and-so. Can I speak to your daughter? I only have pure intentions." I didn't, but that is how I would call to speak to girls back then. Instant Messenger came around. Oh man, I was big on Instant Messenger, let me tell you.
You're an awful human being.
God, I'm old.
Yeah. Oh, man. Half the people out there probably don't even
it's like
know what that stuff was.
I love when you see those videos nowadays when you interview a kid and they show them like a home phone and they're like, what is that? They don't know what it is. Like, yeah, I was around with those.
I remember trying to download music on like 56K, and your mom would answer the phone and like it would just stop the download. And you're like, oh.
All right, well, here we go. Let's hop into Search and Destroy round 1. OpTic Gaming going up against Envy. Offense going to be first for OpTic. One player getting cheeky middle. Karma wants nothing to do with it. He's going to pick up your first kill, and that's going to be Karma getting a second here as he's going to pick up one inside of window as well. He gets both kills. Had a little bit of assistance there from Formal as well. Scump going to be pushing forward. They have a 4-on-2 advantage, looking very, very good here.
Yeah, and OpTic's going to get the bomb down over at B. The one thing you can say about OpTic Gaming is in Search and Destroy, sometimes they can get a little bit too predictable. They fall in love with going towards one side. They refuse to change things up, try and stiff arm, but obviously they're the best in the games. It works most of the time, so there's really no reason for them to change it up.
I think that's kind of that's just a...
It happens with top like
teams because
teams,
you don't feel you have to have that much strategy. You're like, we want to bully our way onto the site. We're gonna get you. Whereas if you're like an S&D player, you're maybe not as strong. You feel like you have to have all these strategic plays. OpTic just wants to beat you in gunfights. Slasher trying to find one player sitting there in bunker. He doesn't have time to do really anything. Not going to win that one. Krim ultimately going to close that round out with a headshot. OpTic Gaming team to attack first.
Something that happened when we were on when it was like Cole EG, that it's like, well, we have these strats that work, let's just keep doing them. Then even when the other teams would kind of like adjust, it's like, let's just go back to the same thing, let's just do it better.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it's good to throw a little bit of a mix in.
It can be, and we've seen that a couple times out of OpTic. We'll see how this one plays out though. Karma and Krim both starting out 2-0. Karma had a big opening round there with the M8 across mid-map, making sure no one able to get early pressure over mid, which we saw in the last series. The player that's going to play bunker this time on the side of Envy will be Slasher set up nicely. And you've got a player pretty close there at Rock. You can see via the X-ray vision. I've got Karma highlighted here. He's able to cut off anyone that might want to come across bridge, but it's scary though because Slasher knows he's there. So this is Slasher's point of view. If he opts to peek at all, he is in a bad spot. And then look at the guy window.
Yeah, they have the guy window that's going to kind of look over Karma and cover him. It's going to be Krim. So if Karma wants to get out of that position, you're going to have Krim fire down some shots over at bunker, which you see right now.
Yeah, you can kind of see it's just a game of angles right now. Everyone trying to be able to pick up that kill without getting caught from the opposite side. And this is where it is. Karma finally peeks. He's going to get tagged, but he's got Krim to watch him window. Havoc's going to actually push. He's able to pick up one, and TP going to grab Krim as well. 4-2 advantage for the offense, same as we saw in round 1. I think he faked the plant for a second, but Scump going to be your only man standing. 1v4. We've seen him do it before. He's going to soar out. TP there to close out the round. 1-1 thus far.
Well, when they put shots in Karma, it's actually Havoc that comes through the waterfall and just jumps up and puts those finishing shots with the VMP in him. Then TP is able to pick up that kill in the window on Krim.
Well, that's exactly what Karma's staring at. So he's ready for that, but the problem is he backed up just a little too far that he took that one shot from Slasher. Otherwise, he probably kills Havoc. You know, we didn't see it from his point of view.
Otherwise, he probably wins that gunfight, yeah.
All right, well, let's go back to offense now. Any streaks we saw from Karma or Krim were shut down in that round, so they will end it too.
So you're going to see the SVG finally on Havoc. It's going to be the first time we're going to see it.
Well, let me take a look at his point of view then. He's going to have the thermal. Looks like he is ultimately going to have to back up. No one pushing mid, everyone, all the pressure coming across bridge, and he did not have the angle to watch that. So they've been able to get across. They've been able to get to the bomb site. Scump going to be your first man in. He's going to opt to get bombed down. The other player there with him is going to be Krim. Krim trying to hold them back. Grenades coming in. I think a trophy going to be able to protect them from that one. But all the pressure here, they've got bombed down now. The only thing they have good is it's a 4-on-3 here. There's a player dealing with the flank all the way in the back that I'll highlight. That's Karma. He can't help right now. So if they opt for the retake, they could kind of bully them off site here.
You're going to see Krim's going to get some shots in a player crossing over towards mid-map. It's going to be Slasher able to win that one. He's in a pretty nice position right in front of bunker, and it's going to be a 3v2, though. OpTic Gaming with the man advantage. Make it a 3v1 as Karma gets back into the play. Able to win that one. Havoc has nothing to do there.
That's like the hardest gunfight in the game.
Scump's going to win that one easy.
Trying to peek somebody with cover like that. All you see is the tip of their head, not able to win that. But, you know, this is why you have Havoc on the team. We saw him yesterday. I think he turned 2 different 1-on-3s into 1-on-1s, something like that. He had a couple near heroic plays, but came up a little bit short. But he has the potential to do that. You're always scared when you see him. And OpTic Gaming in particular, this is a team that got 1v4'd by him last year in Advanced Warfare, so they know what he's capable in this game mode for sure. But as it stands, Envy trailing by 1. Matt, what do you want to see from them on offense?
Havoc's going to have the sniper rifle on offense. He's going to actually take that first shot and miss it. So the last round, he was actually able to switch his class because he didn't actually fire any shots with it. This time, obviously, going to be stuck with a sniper rifle throughout the entirety of this round. He's going to miss 2 shots. You're going to see kills being traded, though. It's going to be a 3v2 OpTic Gaming, make it a 3v1 with the man advantage. Karma's actually, Scump's going to die to Havoc there, which I expected him fully to pick that kill up.
And remember, he now has an SMG and the sniper. So he had the pistol combo. We saw Overkill get banned out in the first phase of this, so he does have a chance now. Usually I wouldn't feel good about a 1v2 with the sniper, but the fact that he's got this VMP to go with it, let's take a look at his class. We see him running 5 perks. That's pretty much what he did all of yesterday as well. He should be able to get bomb here. And the question is just going to be, can he get the plant down and give himself a chance?
He has no idea these players on the flank, though.
No. This is
he's going to die, I imagine, very shortly. But he's actually able to get out, and the guys on OpTic are going to go straight over towards B. If he goes to A, he's going to get an easy plant, but he's going to go back towards the B site. He's going to have one player directly in front of him. He's going to win it, so he's going to force a 1v1 here.
And he's just going hunting. He might be able to find him in the corner. Oh, no, that could have worked out perfectly. Now he's going to have to force the plant. It's going to be Formal chasing him. 4 seconds left. Oh, my God. Formal might actually get tagged from behind. Can Havoc find him? Havoc's got 1 second. He finds him. Oh, my God. Oh, Lordy, that was close. I don't know how many more bullets he needed, but Formal is sending a prayer to the time gods.
The time gods.
Whoever controls the damn clock, Matt. I don't know what they're called.
Oh, that is very close for Havoc. Almost able to clutch that. Was that 3v1?
That would have been... yeah, 1 on 3. That's exactly what I said earlier.
Yeah.
Right before that round, he turned those situations into 1-on-1s. He has the ability to make such a difference here, but it's a bloodbath on B. Everyone getting forward. Formal here trying to react. It's a 2-on-2. He knows he has a player at the tree, but he is just getting teased and peeked. Who is that toying with him? That's Havoc. He was making Formal's life a living hell there.
With the SMG as well, and he's going to push up to the rock. There's Formal playing in the water. He's going to have to get out of this position.
Players that are going to continue to repeat Formal, on a head glitch with an M8. But you know what? Havoc, I think he's feeling pretty good after that last round. I know he lost it, but they're still in this. MV2 round backs, and Havoc did survive, by the way, so he is still continuing this 3 streak. So he is still have ways to go for Lightning, though.
Yeah, and Cap, the other member of Envy, alive, going to be rotating back towards that middle, but Formal's finally able to win this gunfight. They have JCap not going to be able to win the gunfight versus Karma. It's going to be OpTic Gaming taking a 4-1 lead here in S&D on Redwood. I feel like that round, the Havoc versus Formal 1v1, I feel like that one just threw all the momentum in OpTic Gaming's favor. Havoc's able to win that one. You see Envy possibly making a comeback, but this one looks like one that OpTic's going to run away with.
Yeah, it's tough for him, too, because he gets in a 1v1 probably with the OpTic Gaming player that's grinded the most S&D.
Yeah.
That's been in those situations the most and Formal. I mean, he plays with a lot of those big S&D guys like Pharaoh, Blazeful. He plays all the time. So a guy that is experienced in 1v1s as well. But that round, we'll see if that's going to be the difference maker. Right now, 4-1. OpTic Gaming has advantage. They're going to be pushing forward. Envy not prepared to deal with the pressure at A. One player still behind tree. TP going to tag him up. Not a lot of ammo left. He wants to chase him down with the RK5, but that player has gotten away, and they picked up one on the rotation. So A, currently their sight, as long as they can pick up this one player in the back. Karma, though, gets one. That's an HC flying at you. 2-on-2 action here. Just under a minute left.
And Scump's going to get aggressive. I think this is TP here on the tree, and he has no idea that Scump's pushing around the corner, and Havoc's not going to be able to put the shots in to finish off Scump. Scump's going to get away.
And Havoc doesn't have an M8.
No, this should be one that OpTic Gaming should be able to close out. It's going to be very difficult, and he actually picks up the bomb.
And this is, I still am nervous if I'm OpTic. And this is why I love the addition of Havoc right now on this roster, because you still feel like he could certainly pull this off. You almost saw him do it 2 rounds ago. He's going to wrap quickly, grabs bomb, gets it down, realize he didn't have an M8, realize he can't challenge that. He's going to get the plant. Now can he win the 1-on-2 against Karma and Scump?
He's going to play this one up on top of the Brit. He's actually going to wrap all the way around. So really have no idea where this guy's going. Oh, he's actually able to see that.
Look at that. That's the first time I've actually seen someone check from this site. You can see the experience in S&D, but I don't think he realized one player crossed. Is he ultimately going to get eyes on that player? You see via the X-ray vision where he is, and there, he saw one, so he knows he's going to have to check.
He knows where both players
There is a player mid, though, and now he's going to push. The player catches him, though, and he can't win it. Scump just out of his crosshairs, and Karma should be there to close it out, just coming out a little bit short. If he wins that fight...
He knows where both players are.
He wins that fight with Scump, he wins the round.
Yeah.
Well, 1 round away, though. OpTic looking to close this one out.
He popped his kinetic.
Okay, I didn't
so
realize he popped kinetic, so that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Scump, I think, might have won that anyway, but still, the kinetic kind of seals the deal there.
I think Scump ends up winning that gunfight anyway. I think Havoc throws down some mistimed shots. Originally, he had like the jump on Scump, but he fired like a few bullets like at the tree almost before.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, OpTic looking to close out the Game 2 S&D. If you are just tuning in, they won Game 1 by a score of 250 to 247, and they have been completely in control now in the S&D. I'm going to hop off of him just because I'm saying if he's going to check A site, there's nobody home. First gunfight's going to be Scump. I think he just killed. Did Havoc? I think he just killed.
Yeah, he had kinetic.
Havoc had kinetic, and Scump won that. Well, Scump is currently Havoc's worst nightmare.
Yeah, Scump's bullets do a little bit of extra damage.
God.
Just melts him through the kinetic armor, and you're going to see Slasher playing up in top window. Psychosis comes out. They know exactly where he is now. I believe you see Formal potentially checking that through the same line of sight that we saw Havoc doing before. The bomb's going to go down at B, so Envy needs a retake here to keep their
Slasher's like, where are the shots coming from?
Slasher's just getting tagged up from every direction. He needs to get out of this window in the worst way. TP down over by B, trying to cause some damage. Karma just rips his head off as he tries to cross. It's going to be TP here left. No, 1v3. Going to fire some shots at a guy out top. This one doesn't look like it's going to work out. There we go.
No, nothing you can do there. You got a VMP. You can't kill that player at range. And OpTic Gaming going to take Game 2 in a commanding fashion. 6-1, 2-0 series lead. And, wow, they didn't look like they had any question marks there. You saw Havoc had a couple chances to really be a difference maker for Envy, which is, I think, why they're trying him out. But kind of like we saw yesterday, the poor guy, he gets a 1v3, I think twice yesterday into a one-on-one, loses them, does it again here, loses it. Just so close. But
it's a much different attempt by Envy to play Search and Destroy than what they previously have done. Like, they've always played like really passive. It's not going to be a team that's going to push right away. And now with Havoc, they're trying to get aggressive, and I just don't think they've figured out how to play that yet.
Yeah, it's going to take time. I mean, when you talk about bringing in a different player, a lot of times when you drop a player, and Ace hasn't been dropped, this is kind of like, I think, like a trial period, but usually when you have a player come in, a lot of times it's a player of a similar role that you think can do that role better. This is a completely different
role. Yeah. No, this is a team that if this was to be their team, like everybody, well, you would have Cap probably play the same role. It's really like Slasher, TP, and Havoc, those three guys. Well, Havoc, obviously, he wouldn't change, but it's really Slasher and TP who are going to change their roles around him.
Yeah, it's definitely a big difference, but let's take a look at the scoreboard here for Game 2. Again, a 6-1 victory for OpTic Gaming. And, who stands out for you? Who was your big player? We saw Karma doing some big things. Scump, Havoc's worst nightmare of those final couple rounds.
Scump won some big gunfights. Formal goes 5-3. I thought he did some nice stuff, in positioning. Obviously, wins that 1v1 against Havoc where the time runs out. Karma, though, picking up some big kills during that entire S&D.
And they're going to lose it. This is reminiscent kind of a Game 5. I mean, not as brutal as that last one, but they get smacked a bit here in Game 2. It's going to be a 2-0 series lead. Can OpTic Gaming close out with the 3-0? I like some things I saw out of Envy yesterday. TP, I felt like he had a little more help in Uplink. He was able to get forward a little bit easier with the drone. But, they end up losing, I think, to TSM in that game, right?
The S&D yesterday?
No, the Uplink.
Oh, the Uplink.
I believe they lost to TSM in the second half. I could be off on that, but I believe TSM came back and won that game. Oh,
no, that was a 3-1 yesterday. They only lost the S&D, right?
No, they won the Uplink. I'm pretty sure it was the Uplink that TSM won. Well, maybe not, but whatever it was.
Actually, I think you're right. Yes, it was a breach. It was a breach Uplink.
Yeah,
yes, you're right. TSM won that one. Sorry.
I think they took that one. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, you've got to think if they're struggling a little bit with the team change. If they can't take an Uplink off of TSM, you think it's going to be pretty tough to do against OpTic Gaming.
You would think so.
Yeah,
you would think so. OpTic, one of the better teams in Uplink. I would say like OpTic's worst game mode, CTF. So if Envy is able to win this one, you could potentially see another Game 5.
We certainly could. Now, we've got a tweet coming in from Orbit Break. We asked earlier in the broadcast, if you had to pick some of your favorite players all time from OpTic and Envy, who would they be? And he said...
Joe DeLuca!
Joe DeLuca. He's a lovely man.
You're a good guy, Joe.
He's a lovely man. If I was a woman, I would marry Joe. I'm just going to flat out say that. And I'm comfortable with it.
That's... He didn't invite us to his wedding. Joe?
I take it back.
Joe, I take it back.
I take it
back. I'm not a fan of Joe.
Wouldn't marry Joe.
Not a fan of Joe.
Not a fan. So,
no.
Joe, I'm deleting your phone number.
That's it.
Unfollowing you on Twitter.
Yep.
And our entire friendship is in question.
Same.
but it's a good thing you didn't invite me to your wedding because I would have been the rowdy, obnoxious one.
Yeah, that's a very good point. He would have made a speech. It would have been just awful.
But one of my favorite movies all time, Wedding Crashers. I have no problem showing up just being an idiot. So be careful. Don't give me the address. But let's hop into the Ban Protect now for Uplink.
Somewhere in Ohio.
Hello, I am Maven. I'm here for the wedding.
Hello, I am Maven. We get the Ban and Protect phase here. You see overclocking to go early. I think either of these teams would have gotten rid of that, just from the standpoint that you're obviously able to get those abilities pretty quick, and obviously abilities in Uplink can make a huge impact, whether it's an active camo, it's an overdrive if it makes it through, or even like kinetic.
I couldn't agree with you more, and you saw kind of half of the tactical attachment duo coming out. Concussion's going to come off, take care of the second half of that. I imagine we'll see high caliber shortly, and then we'll start to get to the things that might mix things up. We still have overdrive. We still have high caliber. Do you think the Shiva maybe gets attacked in this? I don't think either team's maybe that worried about
I don't
the
think
Shiva.
either team, I don't think either team's that worried. We saw Formal use it for, I think, one hill on hardpoint. Now, the HC comes out again as a ban. And does the HC make that much of a difference in Uplink?
Not at all.
I don't think so at all.
Not whatsoever. I mean, you kind of want it's very fast moving. You need to be getting to strong positions.
Camo, that's a good one.
Maybe holding off drone, it could be big, I guess, in some capacity. But you do see camo coming off and overdrive. So maybe we get a 2-2 split potentially here, since both those got hit. But you still have heatwave and kinetic. I don't know. Do you want to go with psychosis or vision pulse, or do you want to pull out two weapons in this one?
I could see EnVy pulling out two weapons. We've seen Cap do nice things with the Annihilator and the Scythe, so you're going to have Slasher going Annihilator, expect Cap to run the Scythe. OpTic, you expect them to have a Kinetic and Heat Wave. I think once Camo gets out, Camo I think is probably the best ability outside of Overdrive in Uplink.
It's usually guaranteed points. We did see a player get killed with it, last series, which is pretty rare. Yep. I mean, usually when you pop that with the drum, you're getting in for points. It is ultimately going to end up being a mere match. We'll give the guys some time now to create their class. But one thing I want to talk about, I want to show you guys, maybe you haven't seen it at home, you're checking out live event viewer, you're new to esports, or let's say you're a Call of Duty fan back from Black Ops 2 and you're not all that familiar with Uplink, one of the newer modes in Call of Duty esports. With the help of Activision and ESL, we've put together Uplink 101, kind of an introductory video to this game mode. Let's take a look.
Uplink is a favorite mode within the esports community because of its fast-paced, aggressive nature. This mode features two teams clashing in an attempt to score a satellite drone into an enemy's floating uplink station. The drone will be spawned in a neutral point between players' locations. Players must then get to the spawn location to fight over control of the drone. Every drone thrown through the uplink station scores 1 point. However, 2 points are awarded if the drone is carried through the goal. Uplink forces players to push into enemy territories and to hold their position. The player with the drone loses their equipped weapon, but gains an additional protective armor, assisting them while their guard is down. After 2 rounds, alternating between map sides, the team with the most points wins the match. Uplink brings on a whole new aggressive gameplay that requires players to solidify their teamwork and conquer map control.
All right, awesome stuff there, explaining, what has become one of my favorite respawns.
You do such a good job explaining that.
Yeah, if you recognize that voice, it was yours truly, Mr. Handsome. But no, it's great though. There's a lot of work going into trying to build, stuff for new viewers that are coming in, and the new game modes. Just trying to explain them for the new viewers. So we're going to see a lot of those
Catch
coming
everybody
out.
up to speed.
Search and Destroy Hardpoint. You'll see a lot of videos like that coming in the future. But players now just finishing their creative class, selecting their score streaks, and we are getting ready to hop into Game 3. Will OpTic be able to close this out with a 3-0 sweep of EnVy, or will the newcomer Havoc be able to propel this series forward, help EnVy push this to the limits?
I don't know. EnVy had such a good... They looked so good in that first respawn. I expect them to keep this one close, but I think OpTic probably takes it.
Yeah, I think all momentum, certainly after Game 2, is definitely with OpTic Gaming. But we'll see if EnVy can keep this series alive. Counting it down, getting ready to hop in here. Who do you want to start things off with, pal?
Let's start off with somebody on EnVy. Give me JCap. I feel like JCap is a huge part of this team. One of the best ARs in Call of Duty history. Doesn't matter the title. And It's actually very good in Black Ops 3. I feel like Cap's a little bit underrated.
Yeah, he is definitely one of the top players in the game. We'll take a look off the break as everyone's going to be vying for mid-map control. It's Slasher dealing with some pressure early. We talked about the Shiva making it through. He's going to be using it here early, trying to win a gunfight there with somebody top grandmas. Finally going to win it. Tries to find one more player, but fortunately for you, that's Formal. Mr. doesn't miss, flying at you.
He's just going to try and lock down this left-hand side of the map, wait for his teammates to spawn up, see if they can get any map positioning. He knows Havoc is somewhere behind him. Havoc's actually going to challenge this. Not a gunfight you want to challenge, especially against Formal with an AR. And see Krim coming here on a flank. He's able to pick up one. There's two players actually trapped on that left-hand side. It's OpTic in a good position here. You know, if they can get some players up towards mid-map, Krim in a perfect position to make a play.
That player forgot about Krim,
yeah,
apparently.
For whatever reason, just trying to just run right by him. But Krim and Formal doing a good job just holding this mid-map position.
All right, well, let's keep eyes on with Formal for now. He's trying to pin players here inside a barn, but you've got someone coming all the way around the flank. That's going to be Scump. Scump should be able to get in behind one. This is going to open things up now for Krim to grab the drone, and now they are going to push forward. How does he opt to play this? He wants to use Formal as the lead blocker. He's going to go right through Church. Does he go for one? Does he go for the dunk? He soars through as everyone dies, but he still gets the dunk. They do a good job closing out at home, but unfortunately not closing out the drone carrier. Now Karma only went up for a second, but he should do just enough to hold these guys off to allow his players here to help him get forward.
Yeah, and he gets over to the B stairs. That's a huge spot on the map, able to lock down a lot of the mid. Now you see Krim come flying in, picks up two, and he's actually going to get the drone, and he's going to go on a little bit of a breakaway here. Slasher trying to play defense for Envy. Krim going with a one-point throw. He's able to put it down. It's going to be OpTic up 3-0 early.
Nice toss. That's the long-range one you need to make if you're going to win these games. He got a pretty easy dunk early on as his team basically tossed their bodies to the wind for him to score. The second time, he's putting through a big one. You see Havoc playing defense. JCap gets a two-piece with the Simtex as well, and now it's their turn. He needs somebody out in front, though. He doesn't want to lead the way with the drone. He's just going to toss it forward so he can get gun up. There's one found. Gets shots into a second. Trying his best here, but he needs a little bit of help. Unfortunately for him, Formal might be one of the best players when it comes to playing defense in Uplink.
Yeah, he picks up two big kills. Krim with another, and now it's going to be OpTic Gaming going on the offensive side of things. And actually, maybe not, as Havoc makes a huge play. He's able to pick up the drone,
job.
melee one, and then throws it in. A huge play right there from Havoc.
Apparently he heard me talking about Formal's defense, so he decided to club him. Ultimately, it's going to lead to one nice individual performance coming out of the new player here, subbing in for Envy. Watching Formal now on steps, trying to control mid-map, trying to control this drone spawn, ultimately going to fall. Can Envy get forward? Let's go to TP. He's 4-6, but he's on a 2 streak right now, and he's playing very aggressive.
You're going to see drone just being down in the middle of the map. Nobody in control of it at this moment in time. You see Cap trying to get control of Broken here, but it's Formal. I feel like Formal and Krim doing a really good job pushing through Broken, trying to open up that grave side of the map. You're going to see Krim come flying in. One of the guys on OpTic Gaming should be picking up the drone here shortly. They had control of the Envy base for a decent amount of time.
I can't believe that wasn't points. And that was something where, I don't know if the communication was, hey, Scump, hey, Formal, get forward. Krim's coming off a spawn and he'll grab it. But when Krim came off a spawn, he didn't grab it. And so much time had actually elapsed, like 5 seconds, where they had kind of lost control. I mean, there was plenty of time there to get a one-point toss off in some capacity. A little bit of a miscue, I think, for OpTic Gaming. Heatwave comes in. That's Karma with a two-piece going big, making sure points aren't going to get on the board. And it looks like he's opting to try and bring this back to middle. Not going to toss it off for now. Wants to get forward. He has Scump with the extra armor. Not enough. I don't think the slide went through. I think he actually crouched, so he couldn't get through.
He was trying to slide with the drone and get into grave, and if he does, probably converts us in the points. See Scump trailing one player, trying to beat him down, jumps over the tank.
What is happening?
Somehow he is still alive. Able to put in a 2-point play. Oh, unbelievable moves right there by Scump. I don't think they were intended, but works out in his favor.
The unintentional juke skis, but ultimately leading to a dunk. 5-1 right now. OpTic Gaming, 2 players dropping here for Envy. Havoc and TP going to have to play some base defense. The pressure's coming. I'll keep Scump highlighted. Going to transition over now as he's going to be guy going for 1-point toss. The interception attempt comes through. Not able to connect. Kinetic armor pop. There's 2. There's the third. Tries to pick up another, but it's Slasher now by himself. He's got to get to mid-map. He's trying to play a little bit of defense on the drone. No reticle for you, though. EMP comes in, but he's got just enough there to connect with the kill.
And I feel like we're seeing a lot of Semtexes and EMPs out of the side of OpTic. Something we haven't seen Envy adjust to. But I feel like in the second half, you're going to have to see some adjustments out of Envy.
Well, the EMP does a really good job there of basically, stopping a player like Slasher or JCap who wants to kind of L-trigger, hold corners, and look at drone spawn. Much more difficult to connect on those shots, as we've seen. So really good first half there from OpTic, pushing towards Church. They do an excellent job there. 6-1 lead. Can Envy bounce back in the second half, or are they going home early in this one?
You know, on the next half, I feel like it's the side that usually see teams put up more points than the other. I feel like Envy has a fighting chance to come back, only down 5. I'd like to see them get off to a strong break. I would not be opposed to seeing them use some of their abilities or weapons off the rip here. Let's see if they have any. They have a Kinetic and they have an Annihilator. So I'd like to at least see the use of probably the Annihilator here off the rip.
And you can see the sub-players struggling in this one. So many strong ARs. You see TP and Scump not really able to get going. Krim opening up with a couple kills. Slasher trying to answer back, but the first person to get up and get aggressive is going to be Karma. He's trying to push forward, trying to push them back off of this drone spawn. On the other side, you saw Formal pop the site. I think he got one before dropping, but now it's Krim by himself. He's got to play some defense, has to make sure they can't advance this drone, and he's doing a good job. Karma off a spawn, I think, with a Simtex, tosses one in, and that's going to halt any potential aggression from Envy.
And Krim's going to have the Shiva in his hands, try and just put down some shots at long range. It's so powerful. It's probably the best assault rifle at range. See Scum just coming straight down Green Alley, able to put in a 1-point play, but
4 dead, though.
You're going to be using that Shiva more on the defensive side of things than getting aggressive. I think you see the Kinetic being popped there by Havoc, trying to get into Grave, and it gets shut down by Karma right away.
Oh my, it's the second time I think we've seen him use Kinetic. He's combined Kinetic and Havoc to Havoc. Not able to pick up a kill with it, though, and not going to end up leading to any kind of points. Havoc now trying to play a little bit of defense as the rest of his team is coming off a spawn. He knows the pressure is coming from mid. He's able to win one. Player to his left, not going to be able to find him. And Karma still has the drone in hand, trying to wrap outskirts. I think that hit the tree.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, not going to be a 1-point throw that goes in. I like the attempt, though, by Karma. Had a little bit of a breakaway there down the B street, but Envy needs to get some kind of offense here soon. We've just been seeing them play out of their face so much here in Uplink.
Well, that's what's scary about OpTic. When they're on a roll, when they're hitting their shots and winning their gunfights, you feel like you're playing defense the entire time on something like CTF, something like Uplink. When it's real back and forth, it becomes very, very one-sided when they're on their game, and that's what it's felt like here in this game 3.
You see Krim get over towards top Church. Nade's coming in, but he's able to pick up 2 easy kills. Right there, just doesn't even take any damage. Nobody actually connects with any shots, and OpTic just doing a good job controlling that mid-map. Scump actually doesn't have to do even too much in the slaying department, right? He just needs to pick up some situational kills, pick up the drone, get into position to make a play. Right now, it's really just Krim, Karma, and Formal just dominating the game with assault rifles.
They certainly have been. You see every player here significantly positive out of those 3 you mentioned. And I think Slasher has popped his weapon. We'll see if he can connect with the Annihilator here. There's some pressure. He's just trying to win back mid-map for his team. But there's still someone sitting. Where is Karma? He's just crouching right behind Statue.
Just a cheeky little spot here from Karma. He's actually going to get blasted as Slasher actually picks up 2 at the Annihilator. So big kills with the Annihilator as Slasher. Somebody else has to follow it up and grab the drone. It's going to be TP. Should be able to get this one into Grave. Slasher jumps back, challenges Formal, able to take him out. It's going to be TP connecting with a 1-point throw. Now Envy needs to get a setup going here. Maven Slasher picks up another kill on a 5 streak. 175 away from a Lightning. Would have been big if he was able to get that. You're going to see Havoc trying to push into Grave, trying to get that control. This would be huge for Envy if they can rattle off some points.
Yeah, JCap trying to win 1 against 2 players at mid. They have control of Barn. The problem is they don't have control of mid-map, so they can't get the drone there. You have to win both those battles in order to get forward, or at least toss that drone up. They haven't won it yet. You have a player inside of that B bomb site. That was Formal. He ultimately got picked up. So it's Karma and Krim trying to play a little bit of defense. JCap trying to get towards the drone, but these 2 last players playing great defense.
And Havoc has been the OpTic Gaming
they
base
just can't
for
get
a little
the drone
bit,
there.
but they just have not been able to get the drone. Yeah, he's just kind of roaming around, picking up 1 or 2 kills, and they're trying to open things up, and Envy just has not been able to get that mid-map control. Slasher coming through Grave, trying to get a 1-point shot off. He's going to connect, making a 2-possession game here, but just still not a lot of time left for Envy. A minute left, and it does not look good for them.
A minute left, and they need 2 dunks basically here. The pressure coming forward. You got to kill Karma. You need to win this one. TP grabs a kill as well, but this player on B steps, if Krim gets a kill or 2, this one's over. There's one. He's going to get picked off. There's only 2 players up for Envy, though. You got to grab the drone. You have to play. Kills at this point. You need to just pray to God your team comes up big as you try to get forward, because you just don't have time to play with.
Yeah, when you can have an AR player just kind of sit in graves like Formal did right there, it's going to be almost impossible to get the drone past. You see Scum playing a really nice spot outside of Broken. He's able to take out Slasher, and then nobody on OpTic needs to really just push up the map at this moment in time. Just want to play that mid-map defense. 20 seconds left. The Scythe coming out from Formal. This one is going to be an OpTic Gaming 3-0 of Envy, Maven.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the story for our big matchups lately. I mean, last week it was what? It was Rise going up against OpTic 3-0, FaZe going up against Envy, a 3-0 for FaZe. You know, these big matchups that we get all excited for. It feels like the favored team, though, if there is a slight favor, has been just crushing. Well, actually, I mean, FaZe, I think I probably had Envy favored over FaZe in that one, and FaZe really came out on top. So, do you learn anything new from this series? Do you have any feelings about Havoc's role in this team? Because you know it's a big change for Envy right now.
Envy looked really good in hardpoint.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, they're one gunfight away.
It's like that game broke their back, right?
Yeah, they're one gunfight away from winning that hardpoint. And then the S&D, I just don't think they really have figured out how to adjust to playing a faster style of play. It's a team that's going to play a lot slower. They're just going to try and force their way up the map, play for picks a lot of the time. They're not going to play aggressive. I don't think they've really figured out how to utilize Havoc, even with the sniper rifle. Like, we haven't seen them put him in good positions. And then in Uplink, it's just really down to teamwork. Obviously, you've been playing with the guy for 2 days. Going up against OpTic Gaming, you're going to have a hard time. Yeah,
it's going to take time. And they got the 3-1 yesterday against TSM, but OpTic Gaming is not TSM. They're number 1 in the standings for a reason, and when you have a new player coming in, it's going to be very difficult to try adjust, learn on the fly when you're playing against a team of that caliber. It's just not easy, and you saw them come up a bit short. I think Game 1 hurt, too. You felt like you were going to steal that hard point. That's the way to beat OpTic Gaming, and when you lose by 3 points, it can be difficult to rebound, especially when you're in the process of learning with a new member. But let's take a look here at the after-action report, see who really came up big in this one. You see a big performance from Formal, 32 and 20, and a couple of times, you know, I talk about this a lot with him in Uplink, but he'll at times be that slower AR and be the guy that's the last line of defense when the rest of the 3 are down. And I feel like he consistently gets 2 kills in those positions.
I feel like the 2 names we kept saying over and over again in this series, Formal and Karma.
Yeah.
Formal and Karma.
Both had big series.
Karma got off to a pretty good start in the hardpoint, right? He was able to pick up some streaks, had a good S&D, and comes through and puts together a good game number 3 here to close out Envy. And on the side of Envy, what did you actually think of how they played? You asked me for my opinion. I want to get yours.
I think hardpoint, they were remarkable. I actually think beating OpTic Gaming at hardpoint is probably the toughest thing for any team to do right now in Call of Duty. And I think they came very, very close. I was impressed with that. I was a little bit disappointed in the S&D. I thought, you know, with the addition of Havoc, that's where you kind of want to see some improvements, and it wasn't really a pretty game. But overall, from Havoc in particular, I kind of like what I'm seeing, and I kind of like how he fits in this team. They just seem to figure things out.
I agree with you. I think it just makes a little bit more sense, like, just style of play, like, going forward, like how you'd want to play, like how we see, you know, OpTic Gaming play, how we see guys like Rise Nation play. It's just obviously going to be a little bit of a learning curve, and they've been so good with Aches that it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, it is. Again, the big thing is here, it's not, I'm not even really trying to compare Havoc versus Aches exactly. It's just how the team changes due to that. And they're trying to figure it out. It's going to be a learning process. You have a couple weeks left to try and practice with Havoc, figure things out with him, get some scrims in, use them in some league matches. But I think I like what I've seen. You're just playing a very, very good team in OpTic. And on the other side, what can you say about OpTic? Another resounding, powerful performance. They get a 3-0 over a top team, and they look at times unbeatable, especially in the league and the 25Ks recently. They're starting to peak right now, and it's scary because we're getting close to Stage 1 finals, and they are looking so dominant. But coming up next, we've got a 3rd or 4th match of the night is going to be Luminosity going up against Elevate. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.